Hello, welcome everybody to Star Trek Adventures, Star Trek Pathos. Today we are probably going to be missing one of our players. It's okay, that's been talked about before. Mr. W might not be able, he might come in later, it's fine. So hello Runesbath and VGR, how are you? Right, so here with me are a few people. Would you like to introduce yourselves and your characters?
Who goes first? Again,
Let's go from top to bottom again, like we usually do.
Four.
Yes.
Right there we go. Okay, so I am CangoFango. I'm playing Doviah, Drenlich, Twossock, the comms officer of the USS Pathos.
I'm Dodrebur. You might also hear me called Dodd. I am Captain Shiun, and I'm Vulcan.
I am Rogue. I play Nero, the flight controller, pilot, and whatever.
Yes.
I basically just fly though.
Yes, and the whatever is the most important part. Yes.
Yes, I play everything.
Okay. So, is anybody in the
I lost
pre-game
the
lobby?
birdie.
Yes, there are.
I lost the birdie. I gotta change to the something else.
You mean the emote?
Yeah, I lost the birdie. I'll have to get it back later.
Yo, hey, yes. You are off Lind. We're off Lind? Do you know what Runesbath means by that? Oh right, offline. Oh yes, they've corrected
I would
themselves.
assume offline.
Mm-hmm. They corrected themselves, yeah. Eliza is coming back again. Oh no! Run! Run for the hills! She will be here in a few moments. Oh no! Also, next time there's impossible strategic talks. Important, probably strategic talks. Let Eliza handle the negotiations. Fine as always. Good.
Right, we need that character into a character sheet at some point.
Which one do you mean?
The
Backfire?
chat's characters.
Alright.
Mm-hmm. Right, the stream title command, as you usually do.
Of
Run
course.
it. So, now what is the next step? Let me get up my list. One moment. Right, so get everyone on Discord. That's good. Set everything up. Get everyone. Okay, start the stream. Yes. Oh, right. Yes, the recap. So, who would like to do the recap?
The DM, as always.
Casual whistling.
Okay.
I think it's best.
Go ahead, Rogue. Then, in that case.
No. With my ADHD and low difficulties, not gonna happen.
I mean, you specifically said DM.
Exactly. That's why I
And we're
said
not
Rogue.
playing D&D.
That's why I said Rogue. Go ahead.
well,
because it said-
DM's like, it's a game master, it has its own title.
It's fine. It's fine. So, yes.
Technically, the generic version is GM, but
Yes.
So, last time on Star Trek Pathos. Well, you finished looking around on the moon. Not the moon, but that other moon. And you discovered some writings, which there was a bit of confusion about. And then there was a thing that appeared on long-range sensors, and so you came back to the ship, went over to investigate. I say investigate. You mainly went over to blow it out of the heavens, which you did.
Why not?
Which was
Well, it's investigation.
it was the logical choice because it was on a collision course with the planet that has the colony on it, and it was about 8 minutes out. Which, as Willis 1961 has pointed out in the comment, as a comment on the video, it must be a really small solar system for it to be only 8 minutes, because 1 AU, one astronomical unit, is about 8 to 9 minutes around there.
Yeah,
It's
but
a really small planet.
but you did say it was really, really quick. So...
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
time,
That is true.
you've got the speed over distance is the time. So,
True.
So they're not saying the pilot's not an excellent pilot.
No, you were a great pilot. You have managed to hold the ship next to it, which allowed you to shoot at it without a penalty. So, yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Yes.
Upon cracking the walnut, as the term goes, you discovered that it has corridors and rooms inside. No atmosphere, but lots and lots of life signs in pods. Pods that are filled with water. After it was broken up, you attempted a rescue operation, slowing the debris down to more reasonable speeds than almost the speed of light, and beaming pods over. Let's see, how many did you get? I wrote this down. You got 436 pods. 436 pods. Which have been stabilized. Originally, there you detected over about 900 signals, life signs, which was after it broke apart. So presumably before you attacked it, there were many more. Additionally, there was a radio signal which had been picked up ever since you first entered the system, but you only noticed it as you were getting closer to this thing. It was awaiting a code of sorts. But that, of course, stopped as soon as you attacked it. So, you've got all of the pods on board that you're going to get, that have life signs on board. Within, I should say. And actually another note, important note. Looking at the pods, they are not cryostasis pods. The life signs inside, there is movement, slow, but there is movement in the water. They're not frozen. And yes. Yes, we'll let you know, Eliza, if there's need to shoot people. We'll let you know, yes. BGR, yes. Right, so let's begin. I'm assuming you would like to go to... I'm assuming you'd want to have the first scene of the game, of the session, in one of the cargo bays that you had transported the pods to, I'm assuming? Or would you like to still be on the bridge?
Sounds good. No, I think with the pods is good.
I'd be on the bridge, probably.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully we won't get a body snatchers scenario.
Yeah.
Should be fine.
Because it does sound like it could be.
Because Willis did point out that is suspiciously close to the amount of crew that you've got on board.
Oh.
Right. So now with that in mind, let's continue.
People giving DM ideas. Oh no.
I've got plenty of ideas myself.
Actually, wouldn't it be BM? Because dungeon and brig, so brig master, perhaps? I don't know.
It doesn't have the same ring to it.
True.
Like Dungeon Master is just such a very specific thing. It's the only one that really has its own specific thing.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
No.
Monster of the Week also has a special name for it.
What's it called?
I can't remember. It's been so... I only played 4 sessions of it, so I don't remember.
That's okay. Right. So, the doors swoosh open as... actually, who's in the scene? So it'd be the captain, probably communications officer.
Really? So I would be there?
Probably. You might need communications.
Oh yeah.
Might be valuable in this
Okay,
case.
sure, I'll be there then.
As long as there isn't anything to read, that is. And perhaps a doctor character? Would you like to have Rogue, would you like to take over the supporting character?
Yay!
Was it Tom Robin? Was it?
Yes, Tom Robin.
Tom Robin!
Tom Robin to the rescue again. Ta 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 ta.
You might be going a bit crazy this time.
Perhaps.
Would Westacre be here as well? Mr. W's character. If he's head of security, then
probably, yeah.
Yeah. So he'll just be an NPC.
Let me just have a look at Westacre's values. One moment. Yosef Westacre.
Oh, I need to update him again.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
Always ready for a fight, good. Do your own dirty work.
Hang
Sure.
it out, please.
One chance, don't lose it, okay? Always live in the present. Sure. So, I've got it. Give
Good.
lots of presents to people, and if they don't appreciate them, never give them presents again. Right. So, there are several crew here. Uniforms mostly blue. Scanning the pods. There seems to be a sort of algae or something. There are windows, but it seems like some sort of algae covering them from the inside. Occasionally, you can see glimpses of movement
Fish?
within. No, just slight shifts of the color space inside. There are a lot of pods here. In this one cargo bay, there are about 100.
Oh, right.
And yes. Hello, Bullet 1961. Release the Kraken. Right. Thank you for giving the command. Let's just.
Oh no. Really?
Yep. Sorry, there was only one success. We didn't successfully release it.
Ah.
Right.
That was a close one, Willis.
Mm-hmm.
So
so,
maybe check on the Kraken.
let the scene begin.
So, did we
Just a
just walk
question.
in, or?
Yep. You've entered the room. There are several crew members about of the science department, scanning the different pods.
Sure, I'll do the same. I'll join them. I'll
Okay.
just scan the nearest ones, probably.
Okay, go ahead. Difficulty 0. We've got 2 momentum, just to let you know.
That is nice. That is nice. Okay, sure. Science plus a reason. I've rolled that many a times. Many a time. Okay. Sure.
By the way, chat, let me know if the audio balance is wrong, if someone's too loud or too quiet. As usual.
I'm assuming this won't count as botany, right?
No.
Okay. Well, the algae, perhaps? Nah. No,
Well, it was a difficulty 0 task, so you didn't
Yeah.
generate any momentum. I'm a doctor, not a marine biologist. Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to...
Otherwise.
Hold on. Oh, what was her name? One moment. One moment. One moment, just looking up her name frantically. One moment, I need to look up her name. What was her name?
Right ahead.
No, why is IMDb broken? No. Oh, it's just loaded. Okay, that's fine. Gillian! Yes! Yeah, Willis 1961. We need to get Gillian in here. Right.
Why? What was the character?
She was the marine biologist from Star Trek 4.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the whales.
Of course. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, so yes.
Figured that was what you were gonna go for.
Exactly, of course. Only it's going to be like another, like, 40 or 50 years or so. I think like...
Or minus.
About 40 years or something like that.
Isn't it minus a few hundred years?
Before she gets in. Anyway, so
Oh, yeah.
your scan reveals that there are vaguely humanoid life signs beings inside. Their metabolism seems to be very slow, almost as if they... Similar to...
Cryostasis?
No. This is natural. You just detect no signs of drugs or anything in their system. This is more like... As though... It's similar to how a snake can lay in wait for months on end without
yeah.
eating once. Just under some leaves, waiting for something to pass by. A bit like that. And yeah, the brain cavity seems to be quite large. Perhaps quite intelligent. Probably intelligent. What would you like to do?
I'll say
I
the
don't know,
information.
maybe some advanced spacefaring species just decided to put over 1,000 of these things on an asteroid ship and just shoot it out. Why not?
Yeah, see what happened. They come back to it in a few thousand years and see what happened.
Well,
Hmm.
yes, I would relay the information, of course.
Okay, you hear the beeps and trills of the
Yeah.
tricorders as they're being scanned.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Classic sound effects.
Mm-hmm. So, Doctor, what would you like to do in this situation?
Doctor goes around for a bit and probably wants to
Open one up? Sure, we can do that.
Okay. oh. Can I scan in a medical?
Yes, you can. And
Right.
okay, sure. So medicine plus reason or medicine plus insight would work. And
Then.
in this case, I'm going to let one of the let one of the NPCs assist you. One of the nurses who are here.
Hold on. Is it xenobiology?
Xenobiology would work, yes.
Yes. Nice. Complication zones is 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
And bone 2. That's fine. Okie dokie. Here we go. 2. 1.
Congratulations. Okay. One of the nurses assists.
Oh,
That's a success. Okay.
Nice.
So you've generated 1 momentum. And okay.
Oof.
So
that roll.
the
That was nice.
okay. It looks like the algae, which is there, is a parasitic organism that is just normally found in this water. It's not putting the occupants in any danger yet, but you get the feeling that in maybe 1 or 2 days it could essentially pollute the water enough for it to become toxic enough to actually cause these beings harm. You also notice that some of these beings show signs that their metabolism is slowly speeding up again. All of the ones you've scanned seem to be healthy, as far as you can tell.
As far as I can tell, and would you, Captain, allow me to study him a bit longer?
Mission granted.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he just goes a bit nuts and starts getting a few medical and that stuff, and just going and such, and just going nuts.
Okay, right. So, what is? Hold on, gotta look up the name. Doviah. What is Doviah
Yes.
doing? What is she doing?
What would I be doing? I mean, the pods are still closed, all of them.
Well, yes, except for those 5 over there that are leaking. But no, no, they are closed. They are all closed.
Yeah. I mean, why was I called to this room?
Because you might need translation for stuff. I mean,
If there's things to translate, then yeah, sure. But at the moment, I don't know what I would be
Well,
doing really.
perhaps you could have a closer look at the pods themselves.
Oh, okay, sure. They're all metal, I'm supposing, or like what material are they made of?
Mostly metal, partially glass.
Glass. As I thought. So, are there is there any text on them or any details that I could inspect? Or?
Yes, like Willis 1961 has also asked, is there writing on the pods?
Oh yeah.
Yes, there is.
Ooh.
Not
Sure.
very obvious. There is. It looks like there's condensation on the pods.
Yeah.
And the actual metal is almost black, glistening. So look closer. You do in a kind of horror movie-like scene. Shot. You can move a little bit closer to the pod to look at it, and yes, indeed, there are many symbols. One of the sides seems to be completely for about a area of this full of these symbols, and these symbols look like the ones that you've seen on the moon as well.
Right. So
This end up.
that's interesting. So
Yes, thank you.
Oh, we still got our red shirt budget, haven't we?
I think so, yeah.
well, I've got a red shirt, my character.
Yay, red shirt.
So could I try to find out, like piece together what it might say on them, or because like some words?
You can
perhaps?
try to.
Decipher it.
Yes. So if there were time pressure here, I would say this was an extended task. But since there is no immediate threat at this point, I'm just going to make it a set of tasks.
Oh,
So
right.
let's make this a set of 3.
Okay.
And yeah, they're going to be difficulty 2 each. Complication range also 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the ship can assist.
So, okay. So what roles are they? Science with reason, or
I would say so, yes.
okay, all
The ship-
3.
Yes. The,
So, yeah.
the ship assists with its computers plus science.
Great. So manual linguistics would apply.
Mhm.
The focus. Okay.
Are you looking at your talents?
Also values, yeah. Because one of my values is hold your reasoning close, but your confidence closer. So would that apply?
Not necessarily.
Okay, sure. That's fine. I'll just roll. Okay. First roll. 2 successes.
Okay, that's the first one you've succeeded at.
Does the ship assist for all of them?
The ship assists for each one. Dodd, would you like to roll for the ship?
Sure. Let me just pull that up. What am I rolling again?
This is going to be computers plus science. Assistance check.
Computers and science. And we roll. Okay.
Critical. Yes.
Okay, generated 2 momentum on that
Very
one.
nice indeed. Very nice indeed. Okay.
Yay!
Nice.
Sure. Roll 2. Ooh.
Ooh, okay.
Mm.
So the ship does not assist
Easily
on this
went
one.
the other way.
Now for the third check.
I'll check.
Okay.
Once
Ship
again.
assists. Rogue, would you like to roll for the ship?
Yeah, give me a sec. Sorry, I didn't do the chip up. There. So I just pressed it, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So computers and science, yeah?
Yes.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
1.
1!
Nice.
Ooh,
Oh,
interesting.
Very.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
Exactly. We said the same thing. Okay.
Right. Right.
Just reading something. One moment.
Cool.
Hmm.
Be back in a minute.
Okay.
Sure.
So actually, a thing with the modular laboratories is the talent that the ship has is that at the beginning of an adventure, the crew may decide how the modular laboratories are configured, and this counts as an advantage which applies to work performed within the laboratories. So at the beginning of an adventure, we can say, that, our modular laboratory space or laboratory spaces, we want them to be geared towards archaeological studies, yeah? And then you will make that easier if we were so inclined.
Right.
We'll keep that in mind next time.
Mm-hmm. Next time on Star Trek Pathos, we'll keep that in mind. Okay, so... Right.
Yes.
Tell you what, with this complication, I'm just gonna give myself 2 threat.
Right.
All right.
So, it takes you a good while, but with the aid of the ship's universal translator, you do manage to piece together a possible meaning of these texts. Obviously, there is no spoken attribute to this, so you don't know how to speak it, but you manage to translate some of it. It appears that the text written on the sides, part of it is what seems to be a family tree, if that makes sense. So, like, for example, third born of, and then something that's presumably someone's name, and then of, and then maybe some place name, and then going through like that. So parts of family trees. And the other part of it appears to be some sort of social status, perhaps? Maybe a form of rank, or perhaps occupation? Something along those lines. And
Interesting.
there also appears to be another section which, to the best of your abilities, you reckon it's probably a form of prayer.
Mm-hmm.
To some sort of deity. But of course there's not enough reference to know who or what this was or is.
Mm-hmm.
What? Why can't we determine information we have no idea what it is from symbols we don't understand?
Because this isn't Voyager or Star Trek Discovery.
Okay.
Or Doctor Who, for that matter. We don't have the translation matrix with the TARDIS has. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Of course, I say what I find.
Okay. So do you just relay that information exactly, or do you put a spin on it, like the way your character might interpret this? Because you don't just have to say that. Okay, I relay the information. You can, if you want to. For example, say something like, "Huh, Captain, we got a bunch of religious fish in here." If you wanted to, but you see what I mean? You don't have. I mean, obviously it's fine either way.
Relay the information is more so the thing where you're like, man, that was a lot of stuff. I don't feel like repeating it, so I'm just.
Yeah, I don't want to leave anything out.
Says it.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I don't know my character well enough that I would know what spin they would put on it. So. I don't quite know, so...
Well,
yeah.
We'll have to start learning about them then.
Yeah. I think for this one I will just say what I know, and...
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, that's fine. So...
I mean, I don't think... Like, my character doesn't have much personality beyond Vulcan yet, so...
That's fine. Characters are growing over the stories.
Yes.
So
I think the Doctor's got more personality than the actual pilot has.
Well, the Doctor's had more to do so far. Right.
You got a little too excited.
So.
Fish.
Okay. You're standing there. Shiun is standing there. See rows of these pods. Occasionally something moving in one of them here or there. And people scanning. You're getting information told to you by the different people, your crew. What would you like to do?
Good question.
First officer, prepare the airlock.
Can we just keep one so I can study it?
So, probably the first two concerns are, one, how do we deal with this algae thing before it becomes a problem? Two, how long can we keep this life support going? And three, how do we know if they're aware of their surroundings?
All good questions.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, Willis in chat said that we could perhaps beam it out, the algae. Would that work?
Well, you can
I
certainly...
mean, can the sensors discern between the humanoids inside the tanks and the algae?
Well, there is one way you can find out.
We just try beaming it out.
Or you can ask
And if a humanoid comes with them, then so be it.
You can ask a transport operator.
Okay, sure.
They would usually know things like that.
Good point. So yes, I would call them up then and ask them about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Don't know if this needs to be in character or not.
Not necessarily. Let's see. So, how much momentum do you want them to spend on this check?
Whether they know if that's possible or not, or whether it is possible or not.
For them to use their equipment and their expertise to give you an accurate estimation of how possible this is.
I mean, we've got 5 momentum, correct?
Yes.
So 1 would be fine, I think. If we spent 1. I mean, it depends on everyone else, but...
The difficulty of the task is going to be 3.
Oh. Alright.
Oh.
And this is this is just to know how feasible it is. So this isn't the actual role.
Oh god.
Yeah, Willis says transporters can usually separate out contamination. But is this true in the original series? That's the question.
I guess it would depend on...
I would say at least
how similar the algae is to the other life forms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
Like, the more similar they are, the harder it would be to be like, yes, this one, get it out.
Yeah, so I think 1 die is fine.
By 1 die?
Sure.
Okay, 3d20.
and home free.
Okay, the ship assists, luckily.
How many is that? Successes?
That is 1.
Oh,
Well,
just the 12.
Just the 12.
guess that's a no. Is my lay luck?
Computers. Actually, yeah, this would be computers plus engineering. So,
Who's rolling?
Cango, would you like to roll?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Lay luck.
Futures engineering is already set at that. Sure. Set to that.
Come on.
0. Aww.
Okay. So,
Oh,
so the transport operator, you can hear the beeping and buzzing of the console, pressing different buttons, scanning, right, and he comes to a conclusion, says, should be doable, sir.
Right?
So,
Okay. So, I turn to the captain and say, well, transport operator says that we should be able to transport the algae out of the tanks. Do you think we should do that?
Yes.
Perhaps if we set up another tank to transport it into just in case something goes wrong.
Okay, that should be arrangeable. Yes, I agree, that's a good idea. Okay, I'll get an engineer to do that. I shall do that. Okay, sure. Right, so who would actually do that? I'm guessing another engineer. An engineer.
To set up the tank, you mean?
Yes. The secondary water.
Probably maybe an engineer-doctor combo.
I would say.
Yeah.
I would say this is an advantage. I would count this as an advantage. It costs 2 momentum.
Okay.
How much momentum do we have at this point?
4.
4. Well, that brings us down to 2. Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
You're the captain.
Okay.
Doviah speaks out.
Yeah. Well, this is a player choice, so.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right, so... Okay.
Right.
Okay, right.
Okay,
That's
so...
good.
would you look at that, Captain? There's an empty tank right there.
So, as it turns out, one of the modular laboratories that you have
Yes.
was geared towards some marine studies which were to be conducted some point in the future, and it's ready for use. So that's lucky.
Okay. So then that should be arranged then.
Not big enough for humpback whales, though. In
Yeah.
case you had any time travel plans.
Yeah. Okay, so I shall arrange the
Yeah,
algae to be beamed out on one tank first, and then
wait, you want to beam? Wait.
with one
What's
tank.
okay? I'm gonna get this straight.
Yes.
What exactly are
Yes.
you beaming where?
I'm attempting to beam the transport operator to beam the algae of one tank with a humanoid inside out to the empty tank, and in case something goes wrong, it's like the humanoid comes with the transport, there's still a water body, basically. So that's what I'm doing first.
Okay. Seal off and flood the hangar deck and then beam the whales inside. You could do that if you wanted to. That is going to be more difficult. It would be easier if you tried beaming the beings out and just not rematerializing the algae, which would use the biofilter that the transporters have. Otherwise, that would make it easier.
Okay, is the temperature inside the same of the two tanks?
You can adapt it. You can adapt it. I guess it would be a question for the doctor whether how safe this is. Hello, Mr. W. You're in this scene.
Yes, hello. You have not spoken as of yet. In character and out of character. Right, so sure, I'll ask the doctor if how safe it is. Yeah, if it's safe.
Mr. W, Room's Bath says hello. Okay, so, Rogue. Would you like to make a check?
Oh, yeah. I assume they get the attention of the doctor, because a bit preoccupied and crazy.
So this would be medicine plus insight, or reason. Or it would be a difficulty 1 roll, or I would allow you to use obtain information on your previous check if you wanted to.
No, I'll roll again. Why not?
Okay.
Collocation range is 1. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, it's just the same roll. Okay, there you go. Have fun. I got one anyway.
I will.
I'm sure we'll all have a lot of fun.
Yes, we will all have a lot of fun when you get to the end. Right. Okay. Analyzing.
That's gonna work out.
Analyzing these beings, you reckon that beaming them out into a body of water is probably fairly safe, considering their metabolism is going, as long as the temperature is the same and the salinity is the same, should be safe.
Right. Also, are they...
However...
Yes?
Yes? Go ahead.
Are the humanoids connected to the tank in some way? Like...
Nope, not connected. They're just in the water. Just in the water. However...
Okay.
And here is where the situation gets a bit more...
complicated.
Yes.
Like complication.
Yes. Come on.
There, you've noticed that the algae also appears to be... The algae appears to also be a sort of nutrient almost for these creatures. So.
Okay.
Oh.
So it's less like something that needs to be removed and more so something that would probably have some sort of chemical or something that limits its ability to spread.
Yes, it's just getting too dense, basically.
But actually, if we did want to get the algae out of the tank, just the actual floating around algae, couldn't we just
scoop it out?
I need a little bit out.
Couldn't we put both in the transporter buffer, both the humanoid and the algae, and then just rematerialize the humanoid into the tank?
That's basically what the biofilter does.
Yes, but
Alright.
Derek speaking, you probably only need some of it out, not all of it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more like the answer to the question. So Doctor basically says that we only need some of it out rather than all of it out.
Okay.
We want too much of it so it doesn't restrict their movement.
I get it. Okay, so could we fish it out, the algae, like a big parts perhaps?
No, the pods. The front of the pod opens up like that. And it would just the water would just splash out. It's not like a tank.
Could we put it on the side perhaps? Is there a crane on the...
No, wouldn't work. Wouldn't work. So do you want to beam?
I don't know. Could we carve a hole in the top of the tank and then get it out? I don't know.
This seems familiar somehow. Wow. This seems familiar somehow. I wonder where from. Okay. So Captain,
we're not crazy,
beam.
Honest.
Willis says that. Willis says any valves or other connections on the pod to hook up a hose or pipe.
Well, there has to be something that keeps it connected to life support, but
the pods have built-in life support
connections.
systems which regulate the temperature and salinity of it, and oxygen content as well. So, Captain, do you want to beam?
That doesn't sound like a good plan.
Okay, well then what do you want to do instead?
Could we beam... I don't know. Could we beam some...
Hello, Robin.
Hello, Robin. Could we beam some of... I don't know. Could we try getting a lock on
Need to
the
double
algae,
check
just
for
on
the-
on large parts of the algae to beam out? Would that be possible?
You could try to beam out just parts of the water itself, the water, and replace it, like, as you're beaming it out, just momentarily after beam in fresh water. Well, not fresh water because it's salty, but fresh salt water.
That's a good plan, I think.
Do you want to try that?
I propose the idea to the captain.
How does the captain respond to being proposed to?
Well damn.
By the idea. By the idea, yes.
Well, that's embarrassment.
It's
So Willis says beam part of the liquid out, filter the algae out, then beam it back in. If there are no external connections on the pod, to physically do it. There are no
That's what I was-
connections.
thinking. But is that actually how beaming the water out works?
You can beam part of the water out, yes. You can say in this area.
But does it also beam what the water contains?
If you tried beaming out
That portion
that
of
part of it, but you say
everything this area.
yeah, if you can basically select the area around
Like a lasso to-
around the being and then
Yeah.
beam out.
Mm.
Mr. W is muted on Discord. Roomspath.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Hello.
In a few seconds, we shall probably be able to hear him.
Probably. Can't hear you speaking at the moment. So,
2 seconds.
as first officer, he might have some insight into what to do.
Well,
First officer appears to be muted.
So I think
Currently. Oh, there we go. Yes?
doing a very small scale test, like maybe just like
The interference, I can't handle it. Mr. W.
Stop.
Mr. W.
Stop.
No, you're rubbing the
Stop.
microphone all over your clothes or something. There's so much interference there.
Loud as well. Hello?
Sorry about that.
ow.
It was better when
As
you were
you are.
muted. It was better when you were muted.
Yeah.
Ah.
Thanks a bunch.
Huh?
Oh, there you are.
There we
Hello.
Oh, my
To be
ears.
fair, that's
My
right.
ears.
There we go.
We can hear you now.
Yes.
My ears. My
Okay,
ears.
so there's genuinely sorry about that. Okay, so there's no point asking me if I have any recommendations on the situation when all I've heard are the words tank, transportation, water, something else earlier about like life support systems. I think
Okay.
like
Well,
I don't know. Like for all I know, you could be trying to
hold on.
trying to
I'm
break
just
into a
gonna
care home for fish.
put the notes that I've taken so far in chat in Discord.
Like,
So
that's probably for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
Yeah.
should we have it that this guy actually would he have it so he's been like sleeping, like just having a nap in his.
Whilst
Oh, that's
standing in the
gonna
cargo bay.
It would be better if the
no,
character's
he's
present.
been in the cargo
Yeah.
bay. We
Yeah.
determined that earlier.
Mhm. Because you would be as chief of security and first officer.
Falling asleep in the cargo bay. Oh, you put it in game text.
Okay, so I'll
About
just quickly redescribe the scene. You're in a cargo bay. The pods have been, 100 of them are here, mostly made of almost black, shimmering metal, condensation on the outside, glass on the front, a window. The water inside is very heavy in algae, a lot of algae covering it. Occasionally in the greenish water you can see a little bit of movement as the color tone changes, as something inside stirs. You've got a few days until the density of the algae will kill the occupants. But the algae is also important because it's what they need to eat. A tank is prepared for either the occupants to be beamed out into that tank or for something to be done with that. And
So yeah, I think since we've now established we have some like marine biology laboratory equipment stuff going on, that we can probably do a very small scale test, maybe just like
A pilot study.
a few cups of water, and then have them run much more detailed testing on the water and its contents.
I'm just now imagining just a guy wearing just a red shirt running down the corridor with a cup full of this algae water that's spilling over.
And tripping so the water goes on the electrics. But thing is, if we do this, I know exactly what's going to happen. We're going to get a crit on this, and we're going to get complication when we do it for real. If it's a roll.
You want to do it for real?
You can't. I
you know what
feel
Okay.
like
Okay.
the risk of something going horribly wrong because we don't understand it enough is higher than, taking our time and studying this thing. We have a couple days to sort this out.
The biggest risk is that this
I
is going to
think we
become.
should.
Yeah, the biggest risk is that this is going to become a 5-parter.
Yeah.
But we should know it.
Of course,
And I
yes.
think that the captain as a character would insist upon doing further studies.
And that's important.
Well,
So,
well, your ship, your rules, madame.
right, so that's what we're doing. Sure. Contact the transport operator. Beam out one of the pod occupants into the new pod as originally planned. You can always add small amounts of algae as needed. Yeah, that's what you can do. You can do that. But never ever put the captain in a red shirt. Looks at Picard and Cisco and Janeway.
Well, it's US era red shirts.
So, okay, small amount of the water gets beamed out to the lab. They confirm that they have it. They confirm that they have it, and Doctor, you can see that nothing seems to have changed with the life signs of one of the occupant in one of the pods. Yes, Mr. Donahue.
Just to be curious, wasn't there, like, I only know this like secondhand, but wasn't there like a Star Trek uniform that was kind of like a dress?
There are
the formal ones.
So, yeah, the formal ones, the formal uniforms.
Right.
If you say where to go to meet an ambassador, or if the actor's putting on weight and so you can't fit them in the normal clothes, which is incidentally why that wasn't introduced. I think it was introduced. That was why Kirk was wearing the formal uniform in a few episodes, where it doesn't really make that much sense because the actor was putting on a little bit of weight in that time. So, yeah. Anyway,
just write in loads of important scenes.
So, yes, seems to be fairly safe to do this. However, the thing is that the pressure will also change inside. So the safest way to do it would probably be to just do it little by little and slowly replace the water. So beam out a little bit, beam in a bit more, or to just,
for every time.
or to just that would take a long time, or to beam the occupants into the big tank and just put a bunch of the algae in there.
Well, you said we got 3 days. It's liable to take more than 3 days.
Is it 3?
Hey.
I said
A couple days.
A few days.
days.
I said
Unsure.
A few days, yeah.
Damn.
More than
To be-
1 day.
If we do okay. What I'm thinking, if we do what we can, little by little, and then if we get to say the first day and we see, okay, are going to be able to get this all done by the third day, great. If we're not, then maybe take the route of transporting all the life signs, all the remaining life signs into the tank.
Another thing to consider is that the doctor has noted that some of the occupants' metabolism is speeding up naturally. You may not have
Is
a
that a good or bad
day.
thing?
You may not have a day until they become
Some of
more
them.
active, shall we say.
Some of them at least, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But if they're
well-
more active, doesn't
okay.
mean they'd be eating more of the algae.
Could be.
Well, I think I don't think it would hurt to prioritize ones that might become the ones that the metabolism is rising.
Mhm.
Are you going to be the one to do it?
I-
Just offering stuff to you.
So-
I'm not going to make the decision.
Mhm.
I'm not going to
It's
be
a good charge, right?
So
responsible for a whole entire
Willis-
race.
So Willis
I-
says beam the most active one into the new tank.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would suggest. Yeah, that's kind of what I was suggesting. Like take precedence of the most active ones, or the ones that have the metabolism. I don't know. No.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. I know what you mean.
I feel like this shouldn't be so guess and check.
Mhm.
Like this shouldn't be something that we have to be like, maybe. You know, there
Mhm.
should be a better way to test this.
So you could
to
turn-
know that it's
you-
okay.
You could turn to Starfleet regulations, if anyone has that as a focus.
Ah,
I have Starfleet Protocol.
Okay,
as a focus.
sure.
nice.
So
I don't know.
Starfleet Protocol. So this counts as a first contact situation, and in a first contact situation, you're supposed to make contact as soon as possible to then be able to communicate with them to see how they want to proceed. So if the doctor says that it's safe enough to transport one of them out into more open space, essentially maybe help them to regain whatever form of consciousness they have sooner, that's the sort of direction that the protocols would be pushing in.
Okay. Then maybe take like a handful of the most active ones
Okay.
right now, put them in the tank, and see if we can get them to communicate in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So, also, how large are the tanks actually? I'm
You mean
assuming.
the pods?
Yeah, the pods. I mean,
Big
I'm
enough-
picturing it a bit larger than a telephone booth.
Uh,
Is that correct?
yeah, it's about big enough for a human to fit inside. It looks a little bit. Imagine a sarcophagus. About that size.
Okay. I've imagined one.
Good. Now that you've done that, we can continue. So, right, this is going to be a check.
And the new tank is also of that size.
No, the new tank is
Is larger.
one big tank.
Oh, alright. So we could fit many in there.
Yeah, not all of them, but quite a few of them. So we've got 2 momentum.
Yes.
So this is transporting, so 1, 2. So this would be a difficulty 2 task. This should assist.
Okay.
But
Momentum.
do you want to buy dice? If so, how many?
Let's buy a die. I'd say.
I think Yeah. We're down to 2 momentum, I think.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
1 die.
Yeah. We could buy the second with threat, but let's not.
We could add more threat.
Yeah.
I
rather
would.
not.
So with this task, I would let you succeed at a cost as well. If you don't, so
Oh.
accept a complication if you don't succeed.
Okay.
Right.
That's fair enough.
And do we know the difficulty?
2.
2.
Oh,
Hmm.
so
Will we get help from computers?
The ship
From
will
the
assist.
ship?
The ship will
Whatever?
assist. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Then 1 die. We'll buy 1 die.
Okay. Down to 1 momentum.
Let's see how this goes.
Hopefully, well.
uh-oh.
Oh,
Oh.
2 successes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That
Hold on.
19. That 19
We-
is.
What was the
Concerning.
complication range?
It was just 1. The complication was just 1.
Oh, that's fine.
The 19 is
Fine.
quite concerning.
Okay.
Nice turning, but it's not a 20,
Uh-huh.
so we're fine.
So, Mr. W, would you like
That's
to
fine.
roll for the ship assist? If you've got it open.
That's why I asked for the complication. If it
Mhm.
was, then it's fine.
So this is going to be computers plus engineering.
Computers plus engineering.
Mm-hmm.
What the? Yes. It was on that already. Bloop.
Ah,
Okay.
right.
Nice.
So it generates their momentum
Hmm.
back.
Great.
Yeah, we got it back.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Okay.
The first time that's happened at all.
So, shall we say how many? Like 4, 3? Did you say?
What?
To beam, how many? Or do you want to just start
Oh,
with 1?
I said a handful.
A handful. Well,
So-
I don't know how many
We'll
of them
say
you
5.
can fit in your. You can fit 5 of those in your hand.
A giant's hand.
I had no
What do you
idea.
want,
I had no idea your player character
A
was that
hand?
big.
The thing is,
Fine.
the phrase "a hand's worth" doesn't really work either. So
Depends how valuable your hand is. So, 5 of them.
Right, well, you only have 2 of them.
So, you give the order, and they start scanning things. I'm assuming you're going to head to the big tank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who are you
With-
bringing? Probably
With the whole team.
full team. Okay.
Everyone who's here now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
You might need to, like, drag the doctor
I
a
was
bit,
about to
'cause
say.
It's a bit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because you guys a bit crazy when it comes to new, like, new stuff.
You'll be able to study them better in the large tank.
Okay.
Okay. Good. So. Right. Not sure if I should deduct a momentum for this. See, because this is a scene change.
Let's not. Let's just keep the momentum for now.
Tell you what. Okay.
Oh.
In this
wow.
case, sure. Okay, I'm not gonna let you keep it. For now. For now.
Thank you. Yes.
waste of tactics.
Yeah.
Did somebody just twist the DM's,
No,
Really did.
you can see my hands are here. They're fine. So, right. The scene is as you enter. It's a large space, quite brightly lit.
Mm-hmm.
The tank it's glass walls. You can see the water levels about at eye height, so you can see over and under water. There are some platforms with stairs going up to them, which looks like might be for people to go in or out of the tanks or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you give the word, and in the water materialize 5 of these beings. Basically, they look like just some guys in mermaid suits. Ish. Not female mermaids, I mean merman. So, look very fish-like. They've got a roughly humanoid head. They've got arms, but they've got, instead of hands, they've got elongated fins. They've got a tail that looks like perhaps an eel's tail. And they have quite large eyes, a mouth with what looks like almost hair growing out of their mouth, quite bristly hair.
Well, that spoils the daydream.
Right. Also, where's this new tank actually located?
This is in one of the modular laboratories.
Oh yeah, of course. Rumsbath asks if the tank is open.
Yes, it is open at the top.
Oh right.
No, it's exactly what my character's do. My character's going to do if he interacts.
You're gonna jump in. By the way, the water that has materialized within is also very green, but it disperses quite quickly. And the creatures slowly float and tend to sink to the bottom a bit more. Roomspell asks, can the creatures jump out? Well, it looks like they've got gills, so they're probably not that used to breathing air.
They could certainly try. It would not be advised.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Yeah, but it doesn't.
The
know
travel
that.
agency does not advise you to jump out
I'm
of the
pretty
tank.
sure they
Thank you.
know what they need to survive.
It doesn't know that it's not advised.
Is there like a lid to close it?
Nope.
Well, the thing is that if one does die, I can always dissect it.
Do you say this in character?
To work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Sure.
And also, me
I-
set a meat.
We'll note
me-
that
me
as
set.
a last resort.
I give a concerned look to the doctor.
The only time you see the doctor not that composed, he just wants to
Yeah.
study. It's
Yeah,
He wants
but
to cut something up.
One of
the
my
only time you
values.
ever see a doctor that's not composed. When new stuff comes around, he was
Yeah.
to study it.
One of my values is never lose hope, so it would make sense. Also, kindness is key.
Okay. So,
What?
Yes.
kindness is key. He said.
I thought you said kindness is a scheme.
Kindness is a scheme in some cases. Just looking at you, Big Pharma. Anyway, so Willis says I would have had the tank sealed. The atmosphere of the ship could be harmful to them, or they could emit into the atmosphere that is toxic, harmful to the crew. True, but then the actors wouldn't be able to breathe as much. So, right.
Find me. Oh, reference to.
In any case, I would assume that the lab crew would be carefully monitoring
Oh yes, of course,
how they're doing.
of course.
So
And after they've been beamed
if
in,
there were
not
signs of
bloody
deterioration, I'd assume they'd pick it up right away.
Then
So,
no, get your bloody mouth.
Doctor, I'm assuming Doctor, you're scanning them.
Yeah.
You are noticing
What's
that
the roll?
within. You're noticing. No, you don't need to roll for this. You don't need to roll. It is obvious enough.
Okay.
It is obvious enough.
Okay.
After a few minutes, their metabolisms are increasing, becoming more and more rapid. The pressure of the blood that is flowing in their system increases,
Also known as the
as
blood
well as their gills starting to move. Almost looks as though there are some sort of strings attached to them, moving, that make them flap about a little bit. But no.
God.
And as they're starting to twitch a little bit more, moving around, they're going to be waking up in a few minutes.
Ooh, this could be fun.
So,
Let's
so
see.
Eliza, we have no idea if they even have different genders. Or it might be like fungi and you have like 16 of them. So...
Well, what about boring guys? Do they also...
What?
Hmm?
What do you mean?
Guys, boring guys.
Oh right, fungi, of course. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Very
Of course.
funny. So, is there anything that the captain or the communications officer would like to do before they wake up?
So, we don't know if they have a spoken language at this point. We know they've written things down. So I think the captain would advise our communications officer to kind of have prepare, probably start with preparing the information that was specifically on the pods of these organisms, so that we kind of like recognize them and prepare to do some improvisatory translation.
All right. Okay. Sure. So I go back to the carway 3. I think it was carway 3.
I'd probably ask someone to send the information to you.
Oh yeah. Sure. I mean they.
You can get it. This is not an issue.
Okay,
This is
sure.
not going to be a
Okay.
logistical issue.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, bring
I'll
up
do
good
that
points.
then. I'll
Bring
do
up
that.
good points there, Willis. Good points.
We know they had automated things.
But how did they
carve
build
the
them?
symbols
How did they
on
build them? That's the
moon,
question.
But we don't know.
So,
There's a lot we don't know.
okay. Right. As one of them kind of moving around the head, almost as though in a dream state, there's this moment where you're just looking, staring, and I'm going to say his, just for ease of use.
Okay.
His eyes open. You can see the very fish-like eyes, quite bulbous. The iris, the pupil dilating, changing as the bright light flows in. There's a moment of stillness, and then you can see looking around.
Really slowly, I'm assuming.
No, it's actually precise, quick movements. A little bit more bird-like.
Even though the water is slowing them down. Okay.
Who's in this scene?
All of you.
All right.
Yeah. Morning, fish face.
First officer,
Officer
get to the
Twossock.
bridge.
Hang on, you said I was in this scene.
Yeah, I know, but I meant as a response that the captain could say in response to your comment.
It's not so much get to the bridge. It's get the hell out of there in case you offend them.
Exactly. So,
Anyway, Officer Twossock,
Yes, Captain?
I leave the communication to you.
Okay.
Please attempt to determine how they communicate.
I shall try. Okay. Out of character, what role will that be?
well,
So it'll definitely be a manual linguistics role.
so it's going to be reason, plus I would say either science or medicine, depending on how you're going to approach the issue.
It doesn't make a difference, so medicine.
I'm going to set the difficulty to 1.
Okay. Can I buy a die, perhaps?
1.
Sure.
Yeah,
How many do we have?
2, I think.
Why
do
would you?
think-
Why do you need to buy a dice being as a difficulty of 1?
Just to be safe.
I mean, we we have had failures
Yes?
on
Yeah.
difficulty 1.
And
So,
this is quite important. So
yeah, we
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
need to establish some sort of communication.
Yeah.
Before the red alert
yeah,
goes
I'll
off
allow
again.
Hmm.
it. Go ahead.
Yes.
Before this messes up.
Okay. I
Ooh,
am
that's a good
rolling.
question.
Yes?
That's fine, carry on.
Okay.
I'll just read the chat.
I'm rolling now.
Ah,
2 successes.
well, you learn the basics of how they
Alright.
communicate. Wink,
Oh.
wink.
Right.
Oh.
Wink,
Good thing.
wink.
Yeah. Good thing I bought the die. Oh, yeah. We
Yeah,
bought the
yeah,
die,
fine.
really.
Okay, you get the momentum back.
Great.
Uh,
Yeah.
So, scanning them, they're how different parts of the body are now moving that he's awake. There do seem to be. It seems that like they have quite a complex system of what is analogous to vocal cords.
Mhm.
A bit different considering that they are emitting vibrations through the water than the air, but similar to the sort of things that dolphins, for example, have.
Mhm.
For
Mm.
for the record, laryngeal anatomy is actually very complex and fascinating.
Mhm.
But we'll see.
Oh, okay. So you guess that they're probably going to be communicating vocally.
Right. Would we be? So would we be able to hear it through the tank, or would it have to be?
Not an
picked up
issue.
via
Not an
sensors?
issue. You've got tech that you can do that.
Great.
You can. That's not an issue.
No.
If you want to have your
Yeah,
voices
just-
projected in there, then
Yeah.
that's fine.
So can we translate our voices somehow to sound like their? I don't know.
Don't know that yet. After a while.
Well, to be fair,
No, go ahead.
like they might. I mean, it's fair to assume, but we don't actually know if they don't know English. Like if they actually.
We don't know if they know English. Yeah, good point. We don't.
Well, no, to be fair, well, we haven't confirmed. We haven't confirmed it. To be fair, I assume that being as it is a new species we've come across, the universal translator doesn't pick up.
The universal translator will work quickly. It needs a bit of time, but the more you get them to talk, it will probably pick it up. Okay,
Talk.
so after a moment, it moves over, almost like stretches a bit, is over to the glass and puts the flippers at the end of his arms onto it. And you notice that the fin kind of changes shape almost as though it were a large suction cup as well on the
Oh.
glass. And you can tell the eyes, he's got a 3D vision. So what's it called? A binocular vision. Whatever it's called. There's a specific word for it. Anyway,
I know what you
yeah,
mean.
to the eyes facing forward and looking at you, eyes darting from each one of you, trying to understand what is happening. Play them some humpback whale songs, perhaps.
That might soothe them.
And now that he's a bit closer, you can see that it appears to have some sort of gemstones, kind of
Embedded
in the skin, in kind of a
Oh.
crescent shape at the base of his neck.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And just looking at you, what do you want to do?
I'm just going to carry on studying.
Okay.
Can
Taking notes frantically. We
I
haven't
don't
seen
know.
that.
Would it?
Do you just want to wait for a while?
Well, I think we need to get it talking.
How do we make it talk then?
I'm just a mad doctor.
There are quite a few of those in Star
We
Trek.
can take
actually.
away the doctor part of that and it would still be accurate.
Could we? Yeah.
Okay, so goodness. So I think the captain would basically say, we're trying to understand you. Do you know what we're saying?
It's a bit confused, and there's a response uttered. It sounds like a mixture of clicking noises and skin flaps rubbing together, like, for example, with a frog croaking. It sounds like a mixture of those sounds.
Ooh.
It seems to respond to you speaking to it, but the universal translator hasn't picked up anything yet. And as it's looking over...
So I mean, that already exists in Star Trek, or have you come up with this yourself?
Well, you'd have to scour the depths of Memory Alpha to find out. I'll tell you after. I'll tell you later.
Yeah, go ahead.
After a while, it then says something of its own accord, noises. It says a set of noises, kind of looks around at you, then repeats it another few times, getting a little bit more agitated. Not much, just a little bit. And then it pulls its fins off the glass, it swims around, looks at the other ones and touches them, and a few of them are moving, starting to wake up a little bit. It's going to be a while. Swims around, comes back to you.
Do they have facial hair?
There is no hair visible.
Okay.
Aside from coming out the mouth.
Yeah, looks more like bristles. It's just one speaking. Yeah, it's the only one who's awake currently.
Okay.
We have the markings from their pods. I think we kind of like try putting it against the glass and kind of like point to kind of try and indicate like which one are you.
Right. It seems to comprehend what you are trying to do, and it indicates. And it starts speaking more things, and the universal translator picks up a word. Picks up the word holy.
Oh, lovely.
The rest of it is just still gibberish.
Yep, we got some religious fish.
It thinks we're God. Not entirely a bad thing.
That's quite a leap. It says the word holy, and then you to go to it thinks
gods.
Oh, you must think we're gods. Oh no, common misconception.
We don't need another spanner here. It's just significance. So they are a people rather than just, the traditional animals.
Keep speaking, and we can accelerate this a little bit because there's not really a point. So about 10 minutes pass of you saying things, it responding, to when you get to the point where the universal translator has cracked most of it, and then it responds. It says, "What has happened?" is the first thing that the universal translator fully translates.
So who's in the room now?
All of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So, Captain would say, your vessel was on a collision course with a planet.
Says.
We.
No, go ahead. Willis says we rescued you from your damaged ship.
Yeah. I don't think
Just
Shiun...
don't tell them why it was damaged in the first place.
Yeah.
No, I think...
What did they do? I leave them for like half an hour.
This happened last session.
There's something you did.
You're the one that. Yeah, you did
You
it.
didn't leave us at all.
I can't remember in that case.
Yeah. We could not contact you to prevent the collision, and therefore your vessel was destroyed. We salvaged 436 of your kind.
It says we would not have collided with Rajara. Our watcher would have prevented it. Identify yourselves.
I am Captain Shiun of the USS Pathos. Your watcher did not seem to be interfering when you were just minutes away from a disaster.
The signal would have been sent. Of which empire are you?
We're from the Federation.
You know, he thinks for a moment. Says, the name means nothing. Where are we?
Where are we indeed?
You're in orbit.
I know I have it written down, but...
Looks out window.
You're in orbit
yeah,
of
the planet.
Guldahn 3.
Yes, the
Right.
planet it was collided with.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been brilliant.
After all, the,
Yeah, I
the
think I just
episode
say that.
the episode is called Sentinel of Guldahn. So,
Yeah.
oh no! You're in my bathtub and I'm about to pull the plug. Oh no! Says Willis. Okay. Yes. Give it the location. It says, you will transport us to our destination.
Where is your destination?
Our destination is Rajara. It has been prepared. Yes, I'm going to give you the name in Discord.
Thank you.
I was gonna say, because I'm like.
Rajara.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Easy enough.
Sci-fi names and fantasy names, I don't think they're too, I don't think they're too different. Cases.
Might just be the names that I make up.
I think we'd pull up an image of Guldahn 3 and be like, this is Rajara?
Says, yes, you have found it. You will
How
transport
has it
us.
been prepared?
You will transport us. Do you still ask how it has it been prepared?
Yes.
Okay. Says, it has been prepared to sustain our existence. Why is it of interest to your empire?
God.
We did not find any indication of life previously being on the planet, or at least life of your intelligence.
Yes. Says, that is intentional. Our colony, our capital, must not move to a place that is inhabited vastly. Our scientists have found this world suitable. It's just the southern hemisphere that is currently frozen. Near the equator, and the northern hemisphere is quite warm. Yes. Also, Willis, if you just Willis, if you just think of how many times the Enterprise has played taxi for some ambassador or diplomat or whoever.
Why, Willis? VGR said that.
No. Did I say? Oh, sorry, I meant
Mr.
VGR.
Willis.
Oh, right. I thought you wrote it. I misread it then. Sorry, my mistake. You wouldn't know this, of course. Right. Sorry. I did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Captain.
Would that be why several ships in the system were attacked by technology that had your symbolism on it?
Looks confused and he says, our guardian was keeping the peace in this system, keeping the world prepared.
And we know it's been there for quite some time. However, it only attacked some vessels, not all.
It is programmed to not attack manned vessels.
Our vessel was certainly manned.
This looks confused and says, I have enough of your questions. Who are these other members of your delegation? You have not introduced them.
All right.
May I, Captain?
Very well.
I am Doviah Drenlich Twossock, the communications, in charge of communications on this vessel. And I introduce...
Yosef Westacre. Yosef Westacre, Chief Security. Thank you very much.
Is the doctor too busy to respond?
Yeah. He's going through data. So you have
Okay.
to probably poke him or what's it?
Yeah.
He's just going through data.
Okay.
After the introductions, like Willis said,
Mhm.
I ask, who are you actually, if I might ask?
Yes.
Did not catch your names.
Am I not recognizable?
We have not encountered any of your kind before.
That is concerning. I am Mirren, Holy Emperor of the Ajuk. You are in my presence.
All right.
this is quite an advanced.
Great.
At this point, some of the others are swimming around as well. And you can see, the Doctor would notice, they seem to be probing the edges of the tank, basically.
To see if it can be penetrated easily.
They're just feeling around, getting a sense of their environment. Ah, a fellow royal. Why didn't you tell us earlier? Yeah. So,
Well,
what do you want? What are you gonna say? What are you gonna do?
So this system, how deep in Federation territory is it?
How out of the way?
It is not very deep. It is at the edge of it. This colony is supposed to push the border of Federation space a bit further out.
Since there were no signs of intelligent life here, the Federation had intended to expand our influence into this system. However, if you wish to control this planet, we certainly would be willing to let you have control and maintain contact so we can learn from each other.
Thinks for a moment and says, I am open to negotiations. However, I will not give up my claim to this world. That's an interesting question there, Willis. By the way, Dodd, do you have chat up, Twitch chat open?
Yeah, I have it open.
Okay.
Yeah, I see.
What was the question?
Does the captain have authority to just secede away a planet?
seed.
Secede.
Secede.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they can prove that there's
Yeah.
been activity on the planet prior to us arriving there, then technically we would not have had control in the first place.
Yep.
We would not have settled the planet if there was already a colony there.
True. So,
if you would show us where your settlement was prepared, then of course we will inform the higher authorities that the planet was already claimed by you.
says, it is a relief to meet another empire that is so reasonable. Since you honor the might of the Emperor, I shall fulfill your request. And you're showing a map. Ask them if they have the receipt for the planet. That's
How
funny.
many days do you think?
That's
How many
great.
days do you think that you can leave it until you get? How many days do you reckon it is until you can get a refund on an entire planet?
Okay, so
I think at least a week.
right, so on a map shows you the oceans around the equator and going a little bit, following some of the streams, basically into the non-freezing parts of the ocean. That's all. That's what he highlights.
Right. And what would be the signs of the preparations?
Our guardian has established a food source for us in the waters of this world. Your ship seems to be advanced enough to detect it even from orbit.
Very well.
Bridge,
Food,
can you
comms bridge.
verify this fish's story just quickly?
This story seems awfully
Yeah.
fishy.
Basically.
Hey.
Is that what you do, basically?
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, basically.
A moment later. Actually, tell you what. Let's make this a roll. Difficulty 0, just so you have a chance to generate a bit of momentum. Because,
Okey-doke.
okay, 1 success. Dodd, would you like to roll for the ship? And can you guess what it is?
Sure.
Did she get a free
Definitely
dice?
engines and security. No. Sensors.
No, it is sensors plus medicine in this case.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh.
Sensors and medicine.
Mhm.
Okay. Sure. Change of pace.
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Would can I quickly ask
Studying
DM?
biology.
Would,
Yes, Mr.
As a-
W.
can I quickly ask? As a focus, would religious studies be doable as a focus?
As a focus, yeah, that sounds like a focus you can have.
Sure. Yeah.
Religious studies, yes. Okay.
Sounds reasonable.
What did you roll? What was that?
And I assume that would give you.
Nothing.
I assume that would give you. And I assume that would give you a bonus.
She's
Well, it would be a
Right.
focus.
well. Focus is if a focus applies
Would
as
work like a
normal,
focus.
It increases
Yeah.
the crit
Yeah.
range to the discipline you're using.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, yeah. What I was going to ask was it would give you a bonus to things like maybe, for the whole.
So, Mr. W, there is quite a lot of audio interference. Like if you're using your headphones, like make sure that the mic part isn't rubbing over your clothes
It's not moving. It's literally in the air right now.
in there. Okay. Well, if it's not touching, then that's okay. But if it's like bumping against your clothes and that's creating,
Not touching. Can't get mad.
It also could be
wires, not
stuff interacting with the cord
could be,
can also cause that interference.
or it could just be damage, like the wires not
Yeah.
like a faulty connection or something.
Possibly.
Okay.
Anyway, yes.
Anyway,
So yeah, Willis is quite interested in you asking questions like how old were the ruins on the moon? How old were the ruins on the moon? How long have they
Well,
been
we know that.
traveling? The ship was moving at sublight speed. They could have been traveling for thousands of years, and an entire empire
Their empire.
may no longer exist. Good question.
that is also possible.
Yeah, very possible.
Right. So, the scan concludes that yes, there is gaseous emissions from algae in the oceans, which matches that of the algae found in these pods. So evidently,
Oh.
the story checks out.
All right.
Let's start dropping these in.
Well then, everything seems to be in order.
In order, yeah.
We do currently have colonists on the planet. We can vacate if you'd like. And we can set up communication systems if you would
Okay.
like as well.
So, okay, you do not have the authority to vacate, to tell them that you're going to vacate
Yeah.
the colony.
Okay, yeah.
You don't have the authority to say that.
Yeah, no.
But
Sorry. Sorry.
unless you want to say it anyway, that's fine. Given your Vulcan's backstory, but
No.
okay.
We will contact Starfleet Command and informed them that you had a prior claim on the planet. We should be able to have the planet vacated for you, if that is what you would like, and establish communication systems, if you would like to maintain contact with us.
He looks at you and says, "You are not the highest authority of your empire."
No.
I see. Is it possible for me to speak with your emperor?
I don't think we're in range for live communication.
Nope.
We can exchange messages with them. They are too far away for instant communication at this time.
Although Captain Shiun here is, one could say, the emperor of this starship, this vessel.
That is a massive overestimate.
Well,
Oh.
true. The highest authority on this vessel. There we go.
That was basically the equivalent of you. Oh, you flatter me.
Basically, yeah. Okay, so it says it is important for our people to reach this holy world. Transport us down. Then we can resume negotiations.
That we can do. We shall arrange transport.
Okay. Right.
Do we exit the room now?
Probably. Doesn't matter. And then,
Okay.
do you walk out of the room?
That was my question.
Is that the, yeah? Do you?
If we're done with questioning?
I think we'd leave the comms officer here as a point of contact in case anything comes up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I think we would generally accept their wish to continue conversation after they're on the planet.
Okay. Right. So,
Are there benches around?
on the planet,
In this room?
there are chairs.
Okay.
So,
I take off them and
Willis-
do keep an eye on them.
Willis
Okay.
says, ask them if the rest of the pods should be beamed into the tank. The tank isn't big enough to hold all of them. But, you can trust in the scientific staff. They can figure out how to beam them down safely.
Yeah.
Right.
Just a matter of logistics.
So, okay. So, in the interests of brevity, the pods, you wait until they are awakened, and you transport them down to a specific place. They've chosen a lagoon. A bay, I should say. A bay in one of the more hot environments next to a desert to be beamed down into. The concentration of the algae there seems to be quite high. It's like a natural harbor there. After all of them have been beamed down, they've requested that certain parts of their pods be beamed down as well. Certain pieces of technology. Among these are radio transmitters and several other pieces of equipment as well. Do you beam all of those down? There are
Yes.
some energy weapons part of that as well.
Are they
like-
loaded?
phaser level or
No. More
larger?
shorter range, because underwater. Haha. And it's not as powerful as phasers, but you still wouldn't want to get hit by one.
I was scanning before they go down, so you get the
blueprints.
Would they work outside of water? Outside of water.
You'd have to do some tests. Do you want to do some tests?
Not right now.
So do you beam all their stuff down that they want?
Yes.
Can we discharge the weapon somehow?
If you want to fire it, you can.
What-
No, I mean like, can we?
Can we discharge the weapon somehow?
No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I mean, like, that they're not powered, basically. So you can't. They do have
I think
them, but
that would be very rude.
yeah.
We don't know what sort of power generation they have.
It's like if
Okay.
some if there was like a group of like 400 people from like 2019 or 2020 that were just frozen. They wake up somewhere and the aliens beam them down onto the planet, like the colony ship, and they've got mobile phones, yeah, and they beam down and each one of them has been drained, completely useless.
Yeah.
Okay, forget that idea then. That's
In good faith, we
Yeah.
send everything they
Okay.
ask
Yes. And then in 5 minutes, they've built a super weapon that is threatening the galaxy. No.
very great. You should have scanned it beforehand.
So,
in
right.
true TOS fashion.
You beam down,
Mm-hmm.
and they invite you to a special place. It's a little rocky island, no more than a dozen square meters. In the very shallow waters, you can walk through the water. And they invite the leader of this colony to this place as well for negotiations. Who goes?
Okay. Captain Comms, First Officer.
Pilot?
I don't think a pilot would be the best choice.
All right, you probably want a helmsman instead. Hmm.
A doctor?
So we can either take the one who scans, Gwissam,
Yeah.
or we can take our red shirt,
Red
Kendale.
shirt. So we can, where's red shirt?
Kendale.
Who made the red shirt?
The red shirts were expendable.
I don't think
so-
they've been added to
They're not
roll
in
20
here.
yet.
Not yet.
They're
No.
not in here.
I've got the PDFs. I've just not gotten around to putting them in yet. We had.
Oh, is that the Kevin? Which
And the
character?
NPCs I sent you as well.
We had Ken Dalem.
Oh, I think I got
yeah.
10.
Ken Dalem.
Daleham, yes.
Daleham.
Yeah. I got that character sheet.
Do you want that? I'll should I DM it to you?
I think so.
No, got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Cool.
You just have to have a look. Yeah, I got a red shirt. It still has not died yet. Lovely red shirt.
Dev to the
It's my lovely red shirt character. He's an editor as well. Security. I love the red shirt.
Right. So
I do have to pretty.
you beam down and do you take what was his name? NPCs. Wanamak Bainster. Do you take him over as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Take a few sacrificial red shirts along.
Who's going?
True, because they may have some rituals which require sacrifice. You don't
Don't worry, I
know.
got my shirt, it's fine.
So, right, you transport down.
Oh no.
You
it's
beam
second time
onto
we've been
a
So no shuttles.
rock. No, you can beam down.
I
No
don't- I
shuttles.
wouldn't
You
do
beam down onto a rocky island. The waves are basically non-existent. The water's quite flat. It's very shallow, very clear. Only a few clouds in the sky. You can see the deserty shores in the distance, a few miles away, but clearly visible. You can see schools of fish swimming around. The water surface, even though it is clear, there are patches of algae, almost like duckweed a bit.
Ah.
And after a few moments, you can see it's a group of about a dozen or so of these beings swim around, start and circle the rock, and then one of them comes down through the center and approaches you and just lifts the head out of the water enough so that the eyes are out of the water, and it begins to speak. It appears that some of the tech that it got is the speaker device. It says, "We welcome you to our world." It is the same one that you spoke to before. This is the Emperor. You can see there are some clearly royal guards either side, but under the water you've got their energy weapons.
Oh, and we can.
So no crowns.
No crown. So, he says, "It is of interest to meet you, leader of the foreign colony.
Does the leader of the colony respond?
No, he's just looking and confused, and he's not sure what to say. He's clearly not a diplomat.
Wow.
So there is something we are curious about.
May your curiosity be
We-
sated."
We have not heard of your empire, so we assume you are either very far away from Federation space, or something has changed since you're boarding your vessel. How long have you been journeying?
The journey for us is one of... I think for a minute, another one comes up and says, "For us, our journey has taken 5 of your months. However, because of the nature of velocities in space, it would have taken longer for an outside observer. How aware are you of..." And then the other one, the Emperor Katsumo, says, "These beings are traveling the stars. They are aware of how velocity behaves." And then turns back to you and says, "Yes. My engineer is correct. It has taken 5 of your months. For us."
And where did you come from?
Well, Okay, actually I need to look up the name. Hahaha. Where is it? Right, this. We originate from the system of Ajuk. It concerns me greatly that our empire has not grown more substantially in the time that we have spent traveling.
Your hold on. Let me.
It's okay,
Look
you
at
can
something.
take your time. We can go till midnight if you want.
Oh, really?
Because in the UK it's 11 p.m. So
5 past.
5 past 11.
Yeah, it's 6 here.
Have you forgotten how to word again, Dodd?
What? No, I'm looking at my notes. I can word very well right now.
Hmm.
So, trying to figure out what I'm trying to figure out what the time difference
Ah.
is.
5 hours.
Right. So
If I recall correctly.
So the
Okay.
oldest symbols we found were a few hundred years old,
Mm-hmm.
most likely.
However, you don't know how far ahead of them the Guardian came here.
Yes.
True.
How long did your guardian spend preparing the planet?
It is estimated the Guardian has been guarding the system for a few of your centuries. I have a question. Please, how vast is this empire of yours? How many worlds does it encapsulate? Good question.
I don't know.
That's a long story.
You sounded close to tears there, Dodd.
So,
How?
it varies. It varies greatly. So, there's no clear answer to that in canon. I'm just gonna say that
Yeah.
you give the answer. It is
Okay.
at least at least a few dozen, but sometimes also that like I think it's one episode which said like over 100 worlds or something like that. But
Rather a
Yeah.
lot.
so yeah, and in terms of light years, again, not that clear, but a lot of them. It is vast. It spans. Yeah, it spans quite a ways. It spans all the way from the Cardassian border to the Klingons and the Romulans as well. It's the border between the Alpha and Beta quadrant. Both of them, actually. It's in both of them. So, right. Does any player have any questions they would like to ask this NPC? Because this might be a good opportunity to gain some answers.
Did we find out what they called their world? They were on.
The world they originally came from, they call Ajuk.
That they were living on now.
Oh, they call it Rajara.
Rajara. Yeah.
Right.
Have
we determined the name of it?
So, I think we'd ask them about the moon situation, why they were destroying unmanned vessels and collecting the parts.
Says the Guardian was instructed to keep this world safe from asteroids, rogue objects, probes. It was not programmed to end life. It concerns me that it has seemingly attacked a vessel which registered as having life on board.
Let me check something in the order of events.
Go on.
Well, if we cut ourselves open and we find that we're all androids, we know. Then that's one issue solved.
Mr. W, your mic seems very muffled.
There you go. Well, if we cut ourselves open and we find out
That's
that we're
better.
If we cut, yeah, I'm literally holding it closer. If we cut ourselves open and we find out that we're androids, then that's one problem solved.
Yes.
Yeah.
And hey, and then,
whilst-
then you can throw away your atmospheric analysis checklist for away missions.
Ooh! I think I'll have a bit more to worry about just than just the checklist. Yeah, I'll ask them something. What do you? Okay. Shut up.
The noise is
What
quite
do you-
distracting.
I didn't realize it was making any noise.
No, it's rustling. There is,
What?
yeah. You can listen to the archive, then you'll understand.
Yeah.
I'm literally holding this. I'm literally holding it close to my mouth.
By the way, you are already at
Anyway.
200% for me on Discord. So yes,
Alright.
Mr. W. Mr. W, there was a thing you wanted to say.
Yeah. What do you call yourselves? You know, we've given ourselves the name of humans. Do you have a
They-
name for yourself?
They told us.
Yeah,
Okay.
They
it
did
was
tell us that.
it was Ajuk as well. And they name themselves
Yeah.
the same as their homeworld.
Must have been because I did come in late, so I must have missed. Did I?
Perhaps.
No,
I'm not sure. Right.
that was recent.
So, anyone have any questions?
Anyway,
Yes.
so looking back at my notes, we sensed the ship. Oh. Okay, I think I understand what happened now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to the attack, we had sent 2 automated ships to provide supplies to the colony, and they were destroyed. We accompanied the 3rd, and it was inside our shields when the ship opened fire.
Looks over to the engineer and says, "Explain shields."
Energy barriers to defend from attacks.
Our Guardian was not equipped to detect such barriers. it must have been targeting your escort.
That is possible.
At this point, the Emperor dives underneath the water to moisten the skin and the eyes a little bit, and then comes back up. Right.
Very well.
So, Kango, do you have anything you would like to ask?
Alfred, do we want to tell them that the Federation is not an empire, really?
I mean, it is in a
No.
general sense.
Is it?
Well, it doesn't.
Well, I'm not sure they have a word that would properly translate
Yeah.
to what it is.
The Federation is.
So I think
Yes,
Empire would be the
because
closest.
the thing is,
one.
the Federation is a federation. It's like saying,
Yes.
oh, the Empire is an empire. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point, though.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything you would like to ask them? Any open questions, perhaps? Or are you good?
Maybe why their ship was, why their ship looked like an asteroid.
Do you want to ask that? Sure.
Sure.
The engineer comes up and says, I came up with the concept to not disclose our vessel during our travel. It is a precaution. It was defenseless. Our best chance was to remain unseen. It was, as you might say, a way of cloaking ourselves.
Right? Well, it was definitely very convincing.
Okay,
Okay?
right.
Right. I think that generally covers
Probably.
all the mysteries, other than like little things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if no one else has questions,
Well, is the algae in the tanks, is it the same as on the planet, or is it
Mhm,
other
it's the same.
algae?
Yeah.
It's the same.
Okay.
And it's had over 100 years to get used to this place and to find an equilibrium with the ecosystems that are already here.
Right.
8,000 cubic light years. Okay. Interesting.
It seems very
Thanks,
big.
Willis.
It seems very big for the time period. But I think that's accurate. I think you can believe that, judging by Willis's other insights.
Knowledge on Star Trek. Yeah,
Right. So,
probably, yeah.
and that's everything. The audience ends. The water, it sounds like almost instruments being played underwater. You don't really hear them, but you can feel vibrations in the rock, and you see the water kind of jumping up into the air in little droplets as the vibrations go through the water. Yeah, TNG, so TS a bit smaller. Oh, right, yeah, because 23... 23... So, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Although, wait, does it? Hold on. One moment. 23...
The 2300s were TNG, I think, and 2200s were...
Oh, right, yeah, because
Zero.
the 23rd century is 22s. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Of course, yes.
So TNG is 24th century.
Okay. Right. And they vanish, and the NPC whose name I'm looking up, Wenamak Bainster, is just standing there. He looks over and he locks eyes with...
Oh wait, did they
Oh.
did they ever confirm how they wanted to handle vacating the planet situation / communications thing?
So, no, but they did say that they were going to be in communications with the colony here and going through them until an ambassador gets here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can you guess what your next mission will be?
Also, VGR asks if the Emperor would like some food.
Nah, they've got all the algae they can eat here. But thank you
Okay.
for asking.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it locks eyes looks around, then locks eyes with Shiun. Kind of with a puzzled look on his face.
Mm.
Do you have a question?
Says, no, just wondering if why didn't our sensor networks pick up their vessel as it was coming?
The asteroid vessel
Yes.
or the rocket-powered one?
Oh, the asteroid vessel, or the rocket-powered one. Either. There was a scan conducted of the system. A ship did come here to investigate. It is just strange. It is strange.
Well, we know that they had jamming capabilities, and we also know that they would not have presented themselves to manned vessels. So,
I suppose you're right.
it is possible they simply hid behind the planets and were not
Yes,
spotted.
Captain, I suppose you're right. Yes. Although I still have to get in contact with whoever's in charge of this sector for setting up the colony in that part of the world in winter. Why don't we set up here where it's nice and warm? Anyway, speaking of that,
Maybe.
I've got an inventory to manage. And,
Yes.
right. So,
It was an honor meeting you.
you say to Banester?
Wait.
Wait.
Isn't Nuran here?
No, they left.
When?
When I said that they left.
Oh yeah. Never mind then.
Okay, so I'm guessing you all want to beam back to the ship?
Yes.
Okay. Beam back to the ship.
Let's do that, yes.
The transport operator greets you. You walk back onto the bridge as Shiun sits in her captain's chair, beeps and buzzes of the consoles and colourful candy buttons that are backlit. As you can see on the view screen, the planet spinning. You give it a new course heading as helm. Do you want to take the ship away? Yep.
Just floats his fingers across the buttons.
As you go to warp. And unless anyone has any comments to say, any coda perhaps?
Doesn't there have to be a joke at the end or something like,
Not
something
always.
like that? Some witty quip?
Okay. Right. So, actually, right, yeah. So, one of the NPCs who's on the ship, the one who's at the operation station, turns over and she says, "You know, Captain, I'm surprised that they weren't more annoyed about how many of them died."
It is possible that they do not react to loss of life in the way that you humans do.
That is a good point. They might have an afterlife in their folklore. We don't know.
That is a possibility.
Yes. She gives a little nod and says, yes. Thank you, sir. Turns back. Okay.
That's the ending line.
Yes. It's such a good coda. Maybe they were lower class serfs, peasants that the royals did not care about, perhaps. And, yeah. With that, someone utters the line of, Captain, when are we getting an actual engineer? And that's what we end on. As you just as cut out
For the next episode.
and we see
Where we get the engineer?
we see the Pathos departing orbit, and the episode ends. The second episode. What is this, like the seventh stream, counting the character creation one? Because we had character creation, 2-parter, and then 4, so yeah. It would have been...
Yeah.
Okay. May the force be with you. Oh, wrong show.
Show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wrong franchise.
So, right.
Yes.
Right. I've got about half an hour over time, but I really wanted to finish the episode in this.
Yeah. It would have been pretty lame to
Pretty
have just,
short
like
stream.
the last 20 minutes of an episode at the beginning of next stream.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
Good thing we have it now.
Right. So, between streams, I'll get around to doing the reputation questions, so we can do that, and then we'll be with you next time
You get that character.
with hopefully another
yeah.
captain's log,
Ooh.
which
Yeah.
I'm looking forward
Wink,
to.
wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
So Willis, same track time, same track channel. Yes, except that it'll hopefully be at 8. Actually, right, and maybe it'll be at 9. Well, it's a thing. We'll discuss. We'll discuss because there may be some.
Yeah.
We'll discuss. We'll find a way. We'll find a way.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, any feedback?
Yeah. I felt like I could get the gist of it even if coming halfway through. So yeah, really well done. I like the
Yes,
end.
I like-
that felt
I like-
very.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I like how it
Yeah,
wrapped
stop.
up.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry. Delay.
Okay, you go. It's the
things.
delay on my end. It's my fault. Okay. I'm shutting up. You go.
Yep. Basically, what I just said. I like how it wrapped up, and I like how communications were actually established with them. And yes,
It was a very not fitting ending, but it felt like a very ending, if that makes sense.
An ending.
You mean like a conclusive
I-
ending?
Conclusive. That's the word.
There we go. That
So,
makes sense.
what do you think about what the solution to the mystery was? Was it fulfilling? Or satisfying, I guess is a better word.
It was weird.
I'll take that as
Sure
a yes.
was weird.
I'll take that as a yes.
good.
No.
Yeah.
So originally I had planned there was something very fishy about the entire episode. Yes. So originally
Oh,
I
ha.
had planned for you to piece things together a bit more on the moon with the text as well, and with where that all came from and where the communications are coming from, and the fact that the Guardian spaceship was the one that was that the ship was controlling the machines on the moon, but that didn't turn out that way.
Yeah.
And so
we didn't have actual lead to follow, really, like
yeah,
an obvious lead.
There were some questions.
Yeah, like we did figure out that the ship was controlling the devices like right as the alert went off.
Exactly. So because you'd already taken so long on that I could have given more time, but that would have just dragged it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that it didn't turn out how I had envisioned it, but then again, it rarely ever does, which is a large part of why it's fun to GM a game.
Yes.
And I'm quite happy with it. There wasn't that much tension in this episode, and I would have liked to focus a little bit more on establishing communications rather than just, okay, you can't talk with them, okay, and now you can talk with them. Having a little bit more of a middle step in there as well. But I was looking at the clock and we've gone half an hour past already. So I was kind of hurrying things along a bit, which probably showed.
A little, but... well...
Okay.
I think it's fine.
Right, so... how would you rate the episode out of 10? 1 being the best.
Oh. 1 being the best.
No, 10 being the best, sure.
Or 5 being the best.
Yeah, no, I'd say 10.
There's quite a lot of distortions.
Mm-hmm.
My brain. My ears.
Yep.
Okay. Actually, you know what? We can do this later. We can do it later. Don't have to do it now.
Yep.
We can do it later. It's already gone too long.
Yeah.
So, right. Thank you all very much for watching. Next time, we'll hopefully have an episode that will be wrapped up in
8 parts.
less than 4 parts.
Ooh.
Yes. That would be preferable.
Robin says
Probably.
H out of 10.
H out of 10. Okay.
H.
If this was a lowercase w out of 10, I would be more happy, because the lowercase, well, a w is the lowercase omega symbol, which in mathematics refers to the first number after infinity. So, yeah. Anyway.
H is actually another way to refer to, I think, either B or B flat on the scale. So I'd say a B is fine.
Yes,
B out of 10.
I know it is.
B out of 10?
Yes.
I'll settle for that. I'll settle for a B out of 10.
I've heard I think in German. In German, the B key is
German.
H. Yes.
Yeah, it's just very confusing.
Yeah, intentionally so.
Okay, so that's basically it. Thank you all very much for coming this late evening for us, basically nighttime. And that's it. I'm going to skip shoutouts because
Yeah,
it's
that's
already
fine.
gone too
You've
long.
done them at practically every other stream. So there, yeah, of course.
Okay,
Okay.
so bye everybody. This stream will be archived. Bye.
Really, with it?
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Just gonna wait for a few seconds.
Sure. Goodbye.
There we
Good
are.
night.
Okay. Bye.